This is Susan Harvey. She's a local travel agent. She's still undecided. Susan?
Good evening, Senator.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. If you're elected, what position in your cabinet would be the most important to fill first, and why?
That is a very good question. I would say it would be a three-way tie between Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and Attorney General. And I think all three are critically important. Listen, defense. When it comes to defense, we need to start rebuilding our military immediately. When it comes to state, we have abandoned our friends and allies nationally, and we need to. It's part of the reason I mentioned before, ripping to shreds the Iranian nuclear deal and moving the American embassy to Jerusalem. Both of those are within the power of the president, but they're also powerfully symbolic. You know, moving the embassy to Israel tells Israel, it tells all of our allies, it tells our enemies, America's back. You know, Obama, in his opening weeks, he sent back the bust of Winston Churchill to the United Kingdom. If I'm elected president, Winston Churchill is coming back to the Oval Office. So as Secretary of State, we need someone strong, someone who defends this country, someone who represents this country. Look, I'm not in the position right now to be naming cabinet appointments, but I'll tell you, a Secretary of State in a Cruz administration would be someone like John Bolton, would be someone who is strong, who defends this country, who stands by our allies and stands up to our enemies. And then looking at Attorney General. Attorney General, the lawlessness of the Obama administration has been one of the saddest legacies. And you know one of the most revealing aspects? I mean, Anderson, if you ask reporters in Washington, off the record, you get them at the bar having a couple of drinks, and you say, is Hillary going to be indicted? Inevitably, the answer they give you is they say, well, it depends on if the Obama White House decides they want to throw her overboard. If they decide politically they want to keep her, then no, she won't be indicted. And if they decide they're done with her, she will. Now, how sad is it that the media accepts as a given that whether someone is prosecuted under the criminal laws depends on what some political hack in the West Wing thinks? You know, I used to be an associate deputy attorney general in the U.S. Department of Justice, and I spent 5.5 years as Solicitor General of the state of Texas. Law enforcement and the administration of the law is critically important, and I give you my word that the Attorney General in my administration will be blind to party or ideology. It will not be a partisan position. Instead, the only fidelity of the Department of Justice will be to the laws and the Constitution of the United States. That's the way it's meant to work.
Senator, we've got a few minutes left. Do you want to tell me what reporters you're having drinks with in D.C.? I guess not. What's your favorite cocktail?
I'm a Scotch man.
Scotch. I understand you're also kind of a night owl. What do you do late at night? Do you watch television? Do you have a guilty pleasure? Are you reading something now?
Look, back when I wasn't running for president, I would watch TV. I used to remember what that was like. I'm a huge movie buff. I love movies. I like video games. One of the things, if you asked my wife, if you asked Heidi, what drives her crazy about me the most, it is my iPhone. If she could fling my iPhone out the window and into the trash, she would be thrilled, because I'm on my iPhone, I'm playing Plants vs. Zombies or Candy Crush. My girls love it. I mean, we'll sit there, the three of us, playing the iPhone, and Heidi wants to, like, throw something at all three of us.
I know you've done a lot of impersonations on the campaign trail. I've seen some of them, Simpsons characters, Princess Bride. What's your favorite one? Do you want to grace us with it?
Oh, look, I mean, part of it is you got to have fun. You know, a lot of times I get the questions in town halls, how do Republicans reach young people? And in answer to that, part of it is substance. We got to make the case that the Obama economic agenda is hammering young people. For 7 years, young people come out of school with economic stagnation. They can't get a job. They don't have a future. Obamacare is a massive wealth transfer from young, healthy people to everybody else. And the national debt is hammering young people. But part of getting young people is having fun, loosening up. You know, would it kill Republicans to crack a joke? Actually, some of them, I think it might. So, look, I'll give an example. It's not, I mean, so the impersonations is part of that. It's just sort of having fun. But, you know, I'm reminded of a few years back, I was out in L.A., traveling out there. And the week before I arrived, these posters began appearing all over town. And they're posters of my head on a shirtless torso that is ripped. And it's covered with tattoos. A giant eagle on my chest. 2 6-shooters on my abs, which are a perfect 8-pack. Winston Churchill, you sound less than convinced.
Yeah, well.
Winston Churchill on my right bicep, which is massive. A cigarette dangling out of my mouth. And above it, the legend, blacklisted and loving it. Now, we had nothing to do with these posters. This was a local street artist in L.A. that just put them up on his own, but we decided to have some fun with them. So we posted on Facebook, we said, well, for whatever reason, these posters have begun appearing all over Hollywood. I have to say I noticed a glaring error. I don't smoke cigarettes.
Senator Cruz, thank you very much.
Anderson, thank you.
Appreciate it.